Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Nitty Gritty. I'm your host, Ryan Biller, and joining us today is Maya Fairbanks, the general manager of KMSA, the radio station on campus. Maya, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
So, you're the general manager of KMSA, the campus radio station. So can you just kind of talk about how you got into radio and broadcasting in the first place?
Yeah, I actually grew up in a really small town in Wyoming, and I got to intern a little bit at the radio station there in high school. And I just have always loved music, so that was really fun. And then when I came to college, I just started DJing because, again, I got to just play music that I liked on the air, and it was a lot of fun, and that was 3 years ago. And now I've just been working with KMSA ever since, and now I'm in the general manager position. So it was nice to really work through lots of different, being on air live, and then I worked as a production director, doing all the behind-the-scenes work, and now I help run most of the station.
So what did that progression look like from starting off as just a normal on-talent DJ to becoming the general manager at the station?
It was a lot of trial and error, a lot of really bad shows, but I was able to just keep working through it and gain a lot of confidence. And now I feel really confident as I train DJs and really help them cultivate that love for music, love for broadcast, and it's fun to watch what I went through happen again with these DJs that we're training now.
Do you ever look for anything specific in incoming DJs?
Generally just a willingness to learn and to not be afraid to make mistakes, because there's a lot of mistakes. I tell them every time. I make mistakes almost every show I do, so it's don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn. And just that they're excited about what they're doing, that they're excited about the music or the talking points that they're bringing to a talk show. So just a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of willingness to work.
With a lot of other radio stations, I've noticed a trend that sometimes they specialize in a certain genre of music, like say country, for example, or a certain sort of talk show, like say politics. Do you guys have any specific field of interest or category that you guys specialize in at KMSA?
Yeah. Historically, KMSA is the alternative, and we were, which kind of morphed into just the metal station in the Grand Valley. KMSA's been around since 1975, and so it's been a long history of various formats, and currently we're trying to be more, I guess mainstream is kind of the word. Our new slogan is music for the Mavericks. We're trying to be the on-campus radio station that we are and let the student body really dictate what we play, and so we have a ton of different shows. Our just general music that plays when there's not a live DJ is very kind of alternative, a lot of old rock, a lot of indie music, so it's very varied and it's a lot different than a lot of radio stations around the Grand Valley.
Right. You guys bring in new DJs on a pretty regular basis, on an annual basis. So are there any sort of restrictions on them as far as what sort of content they can produce? Because obviously you just mentioned that it's fairly wide open as far as content is concerned. So what are the restrictions, if any, that are placed on the DJs trying to create their own talk shows or even music?
Yeah, there's the general legal restrictions. It's FCC. We're bound by FCC guidelines just like TV is, so there's the obvious, you can't be profane or obscene on the air. But other than that, we just try to help them and coach the DJs through being sure they have a quality show. So it doesn't really matter the content as long as it's presented well and of value to the student body. So we have sports talk shows. We've got one that's been running for a couple of years now. And then we've got some brand new DJs coming in. We have a girl that wants to do a Spanish language show with Spanish music, which is a something we haven't done, I don't think, ever, which is super awesome to be able to provide that, because there's a lot of Spanish speakers on campus. And then we have another DJ who's going to be doing almost a reader theater. He'll be reading stories on the air, like a little hour snippet of stories, which is really cool. But they're all on totally different ends of the spectrum. We have news shows, we have EDM shows, we have punk rock shows, any type of music you can think of. There is country shows. They're all on the air.
You guys mentioned I've seen on KMSA that you guys have some shows that have been around for a long time. So, for example, Wired Up and The Prism are shows that have a decent amount of longevity behind them. Whereas you always also bring in, as you just mentioned, a lot of new shows. So as far as those old shows are concerned, is that just something that's passed, like, is the torch just passed on from one old DJ to the next, or how do those continue?
Yeah, as far as I know, Wired Up and the Prism, they've been run by one or two DJs in the case of Wired Up, and they've been running as long as those students have been here at KMSA or on campus. Like my show, it's evolved from, it was Grand Valley Guitar Show when I was a freshman, and now it's just Maverick Monday. As far as I'm aware of, they don't really pass off the shows, which is definitely something we will maybe try to implement.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just kind of come in and they're fresh every year with the fresh DJs, so it's really exciting to just see what kind of creativity and content the new students bring in.
How many different DJs do you guys have?
Right now, we have about like somewhere between 15 to 20. It's a little influx because most of them are in training, and sometimes not all the DJs stick around after training. A lot of people get really busy and decide, never mind, this is a lot of commitment for me.
Right.
But yeah, right now we have about 15 to 20 on our list that we're training currently and hoping to get all their shows rolling within the next 2 weeks or so at the earliest, at the latest actually.
So you guys have, obviously, like you just mentioned, you guys have a lot of young talent, a lot of new DJs coming in and working on shows. So this is kind of a dual part question, I guess. I've also heard rumors that you guys have, if there's any sort of profanity that's played on air, that you guys can be fined up to $250,000. And so I guess my first question is, A, is that true? And then B, is that much of a concern when you have so much young, raw talent trying to work with music and being on live air for the first time?
Yeah, as far as the fine, it's more in extreme cases, but that is the FCC like mandated fine for violating their guidelines. TV's under the same mandate as far as I know. But we try to, with the training, help instill in a DJ just a good practices, like obviously don't swear on the air and what to do if certain situations show up. And there's a lot of little safeguards in the station to help prevent any sort of FCC violations, because the last thing we want to do is get fined or get KMSA shut down, because that's a huge learning opportunity that these students will lose. So we just try to be sure they are understanding that it's not just a place to mess around, it's a place to learn and to really cultivate their love of broadcast.
For a young DJ coming in to KMSA for the first time, what does the process look like for them to, what does the training process look like for them to go from just coming in and then actually being able to be on the air for the first time?
Yeah, so we have kind of a little 3-step process, well I guess 4 if you count. We meet them for the first time, kind of get their contact information, get a feel for what they want to do at the station, whether it be talk show or radio, music show or a sports show, or just help with the sports broadcasting. And then the next meeting we go through very meticulously, show them, here's the board, here's how you run all the equipment, here's kind of what a show would generally look like, and let them ask as many questions as they need so they can understand just how the radio station operates in general. And then we'll meet with them a second time and they will shadow somebody's current show so they can really see all that in action. And then the third training session, they will start their own show, and a manager or a DJ that's comfortable with training will sit in on them on their show, help them get set up, be sure they're comfortable, and after that they're pretty good to go, and we just check in periodically to be sure they don't need any more help.
Very cool.
So it's a lot of fun.
Do a lot of your young DJs, or just DJs in general really, are they aspiring to go into the broadcasting world, especially particularly in radio?
Not all of them. You know, we have a lot of mass communication students, which obviously they're trying to build a broadcasting portfolio, but there is we have theater students that just want practice, I guess public speaking. It's a form of public speaking and performing. And we just have other students that just really love music and want a chance to express their music. So it's pretty varied, but there definitely are some that use it as an avenue to really develop their broadcasting skills. And there's been alumni that are coming back to over homecoming, actually, an alumnus. She owns a recording studio currently, and she got her start at KMSA, and so she's coming back to visit and actually donating money to our station, which is really awesome. She just wanted to give back to the station that helped her get her start in her career. So you can go a lot of directions. It doesn't have to directly be radio broadcasting. You can also go into any form of recording or maybe into TV broadcast once you get comfortable behind a microphone, behind a camera.
Yeah, so now in her case, is that very common, or is that more of an anomaly for her to make it big, I guess?
Not necessarily. I don't think it's an anomaly, but there's also a mass communication student. I'm not sure if he worked with KMSA, but his name's Kalani Pea, and he's a Grammy Award-winning musician. And there's a lot of talent that comes out of CMU in general, because we have CMU TV, obviously, that helps a lot of students get experience with real broadcasting settings, and same thing at KMSA. It's a real radio station. Though it's a student radio station, you're allowed to kind of experiment and make mistakes more than like a professional setting. But it's good because it lets people and students really learn what they're doing so they can take those skills into the career that they want.
Yeah. Other than, broadcasting shows and music from the station, are you guys involved in any other sort of like events?
Oh yeah, we help with a lot of events. We're all over campus. We've helped at Sustainability's Council. They asked us to help at the climate rally, so we were there playing music for them. We help a lot of clubs out. Any need that they have for music, we'll come and we'll play music for them, provide microphones. We're helping Chris DeLeon with the Criterion is helping put it on as well, the Justice League of Hope dance. They're doing a Halloween dance. We're going to be the DJs for that, which is super fun. But yeah, we're all over the place, so we help out as much as we can and to get our name out, and also just to help build a strong community here on campus. So so clubs don't have to outsource and hire DJs. They can come to the radio station and interact with us, and we can just kind of really help each other out.
In regards to those events, which DJs are selected to be DJing those events?
Currently, it's been a lot of us managers doing the job just because we're still training DJs, and we want to be sure they're comfortable running a live event by themselves. But eventually, any DJ that has time and wants to, be a part of some of the events going on around the community, they can just come, help, play some music, meet lots of people, usually get some free food.
Yeah.
But they're a lot of fun. Live events are a lot of fun, and it's a lot different than being in the booth behind the studio.
Very cool. And then as for you personally, after your time is done here with CMU and at KMSA, what is your plan moving forward? Do you want to continue with your radio career?
I would love to. The longer I've been at school, the less I've known what I wanted to do. Actually, I started in journalism because I wanted to be a newspaper writer, but I've definitely delved far off from that. Not too far. Still journalism, but broadcast journalism. I've been, for the radio station back home in Wyoming, I've been an on-air talent for them for about 6 months. I was the on-air talent. So I feel like I've gained a lot of skills here at CMU to be successful in broadcast. It's just a matter of where the opportunities lead me. So I'm not too set on radio, but I would not be unhappy in radio for sure.
And for students who want to get involved, any last tips that you can give them?
Yeah, just come, show up with anything. Just whether it's KMSA or CMU TV or any club, just show up to the meetings, get involved. Our meetings are 6:30 on Wednesdays up in the UC. Just come, meet us. All of the managers are always super excited to meet new DJs. All the DJs are a lot of fun to hang out with, and we're all just a big family, so just come hang out and we'll teach you everything, and hopefully you can have lots of fun.
Yeah, very cool. Maya, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Join us next time for our next episode of Nitty Gritty. Maya Fairbanks is the general manager. Glad you could make it.
Thank you. Yeah.